kind of been to Crush It, so you've heard my background, but one of the things I talk about is beating the pavement and walking up and down Main Street America. But what's really core to me and core to this company, and I really feel like is one of the missions that we're on, appreciate that, is bringing local communities together. And I always talk about like Lincoln, Nebraska, and the story about how, that market out of nowhere just lit on fire, and people always like, why Lincoln? Or, why, this market, why that market? It's just, it's all about leadership, but it's all about taking a community and bringing that community and lifting it up. Whether it's LA or Lincoln or Des Moines or wherever it is, it's bringing that community and lifting it up. And the power of our model is really a game changer. And if you think about, we talked about at the last event, a lot of the game changer companies out there. So Netflix and Reed Hastings, and we talked about what's happened with something like Yelp and how they really kind of took Zagat and flipped it upside down and put people in the equation. Really, when you think about what we're about to walk through and think about what Facebook has done, I think there's a lot of analogies to iZigg. And if you think about where iZigg is in our growth right now, we're really in this spot where we've got a nice steady growth, but this is the type of business that people will look at and say, God, how did I not see that 2 years ago or 3 years ago when this company hits that exponential growth? And a lot of it, and a lot of what we're about to talk about, is how social media is best left to organically grow. Some of the best things you have to let happen. And I think you've heard a lot about that today. You can't push somebody into this business, but you can tell them about it. You can keep in touch with them. You can tell them about it again. You can check in with them. And it's crazy how 5 months later someone will say, geez, you're still at that iZigg thing, huh? And as they see you be successful with it, then they'll get intrigued about that model. And the same thing happens with things that are viral. Things that are viral, they happen naturally, but it's not until they get to that tipping point. We talked about product curves and maturity in that chart, that people will look at them and they just hit that exponential growth. So we're going to talk about some of the new stuff that's happening, and really, one of the things that I'm really truly passionate about is how marketing has changed forever. And this is really, if you think about history, this is an amazing time that we're all living in, because marketing has never been flipped like this. I mean, dating back to when there was a printing press for the first time, or there was radio for the first time, we have the opportunity to live through a society where information is now conveyed on your time. This new media, this new social media is bigger than anything that has happened. And it's bigger than when the internet launched, because when the internet launched, it was too early yet. There weren't the tools and mechanisms in place for real-time information delivery. So if you think about how you hear about stuff, and so many people told me, how they heard about what happened with, the killing and with the disasters or other stuff. They didn't hear about it on the news, they heard about it on Facebook. They heard about it by their wall. And that's happening more and more and more, because the information that you consume is happening either from your phone or it's happening from your social network. So this is something that really, it's forever changed. Forever changed. It's not a kind of thing that's like, maybe I'll try that, maybe I'll jump on, maybe I'll check it out. It's forever. So when we talk about the term mobile social, and we use that at Crush It, this mobile social world that we live in, it's really a society where information is conveyed and consumed by people on their time by other people. Old media. I mean, we talk about this over and over again, but there's a key word here, is programming. Old media used to be where you program that media. You design the flyer, you design the ad, you prep it, you get it ready, and then you publish it out. New media is instant. New media is, the guy who's running a restaurant wants to run a promotion, he runs it. You run a boutique, you run it. I mean, it's instant promotion, it's instant communication. And that's different. I mean, that is like such a game changer in society. And again, the thing I want to express is that's not going anywhere. But does it take a lot of time for people to wake up to that? Does it take a lot of time for them to A, acknowledge it, and B, do they know how to do anything with it? And that's where iZigg comes in a big way. So this new media, listen to what you want, watch what you want, read what you want. I mean, the society that we live in right now, whether it's, you know, finding information on your iPad or finding information on your mobile phone. I mean, who here is really not watching much television? I just by a show of hands. I mean, isn't it insane that 15 years ago, television was part of like society in such a big way, and today it's just, I mean, I personally don't even think about it. And you know, a marketing guy that I really respect, he's kind of a leader in the marketing industry, we had a conversation. He said there'll be a day when people think of Coca-Cola as water with syrup, because they won't see that brand as much, because they'll hear about coconut water from so many people as a healthier alternative to drinking. And it's funny, Jared, you know, who's just all into pure healthy stuff, when we were here last event, I was like, I worked out and I went to grab a coffee. I was like, Jared, can I pour you a coffee? He's like, what, put acid in my body? I was like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't have one. But it's funny because you get conditioned by people that you talk to, but you do more and more because you're not consuming the other ads. And if you think about, you know, who here has kids? I mean, these kids are growing up. I mean, my 7-year-old, my 5-year-old, I mean, they're growing up using this stuff and consuming it. So again, it's changed forever. Whenever you want it, wherever you are. So the freedom of choice, businesses large and small, must be appealing on a human level. And this is where this is really key to understanding. I mean, this is a fundamental shift where you have to talk to people in their language. You have to communicate to people that the way they want to be communicated with. Otherwise, people will tune you out. So if you're not talking their talk, and so this is a really big thing that we're going to talk about today, where advertising, product development, and what you do as a company is no longer driven by the boardroom. It's driven by the people who consume your products. And so there used to be whole departments of companies called market research that used to sit around and try to come up with this stuff. Really now you can do that so quickly if you embrace social media and if you just listen to the people who are talking to you. And you know, some of the stuff that we do at iZigg is exactly that. We are listening to you guys. We're listening to the ideas and the things that people are talking about. I mean, CrankIt, this event is because of you guys. I mean, this event is because people ask for more on a deeper level and a level 2 training event. So I'm going to talk about an example, and I don't know who here saw this, but this was amazing to see how social media can crush a brand. Who here remembers about 2 years ago when there was a viral video about Domino's Pizza with a guy picking his nose? Who here saw that? Couple of people? So about 2 years ago, an employee at Domino's shot a video on his phone, picking his nose, putting on a pizza, and then shipping the pizza out, laughing about it. Well, that got on YouTube and just went viral. What's the crazy thing about that is that experience crippled one of the most dominating brands in the marketplace because they didn't know what to do. And they sat in a boardroom for 2 days and talked about how to respond. And then the CEO of Domino's went on and did a video apologizing, talking about how they're going to shut down the location, blah, 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 blah. That got about 27,000 views, that video. The other video got 4 million views. So just to think about how viral, but the thing to impress on everyone is they weren't in touch with their consumers at the time. What could have been a very easy thing if they actually had a social presence and were talking to people became a huge nightmare for Domino's, and it actually tanked their sales for about 3 or 4 quarters. What happened, and this is a real amazing story, and I don't know if a lot of you guys know about this, is a lot of their marketing now stems around a new campaign that they launched, which is Show Me Your Pizza, where they are out talking about, and the CEO is publicly saying, hey, you know what, we're not perfect. We don't make the perfect pie every time. In fact, we will never produce a commercial that doesn't have a real pizza cooked in a real restaurant by a real employee ever again, guaranteed. And they started running these campaigns. So let's just roll. I want to show you guys this commercial that they're running, which again, it just shows a dramatic shift.
This is not acceptable. Bryce in Minnesota, you shouldn't have to get this from Domino's. We're better than this.
When we launched ShowUsYourPizza.com, we asked our customers to be the photographers, and we've been thrilled by the results.
But this